When a woman plays hard to get, most men chase harder. They text more, plan more, and think that persistence equals attraction. But a Sigma male, he sees things differently. To him, attention is currency, and not everyone deserves it. You see, the Sigma doesn't play emotional chess with anyone. He observes, analyzes, and then quietly withdraws into his own world. Where others see rejection, he sees revelation, a simple truth about compatibility, energy, and self-respect. Sigma males operate from self-containment. They are not driven by the need to prove their worth to anyone, especially not through emotional games. When a woman pulls away or acts disinterested, the Sigma doesn't panic. He pauses. He knows that distance reveals more about people than closeness ever will. For the Sigma, revenge isn't loud. It doesn't come in the form of anger or spite. It's quiet, almost graceful. It's the kind of revenge that doesn't even look like revenge at all. It's growth, evolution, and detachment, all happening beneath the surface while the world expects reaction. Because a Sigma male knows that silence unsettles those who crave attention. This is why when she plays hard to get, he doesn't chase. He transforms. He invests in himself so deeply that she eventually realizes she was never the prize. She was merely part of a test, a reflection of his ability to stay centered when the world tries to pull him off balance. Today we'll explore 6 subtle ways Sigma males take their revenge, not through games, but through mastery of self. Each method reflects his inner discipline, his calm defiance, and his refusal to play by ordinary rules. Because the Sigma male's greatest act of vengeance is becoming the man she can no longer reach. Number 1, he withdraws completely. When a woman tries to create distance, most men panic. They reach out, overcompensate, or try to win her back through constant attention. But the Sigma male operates differently. When she steps back, he doesn't chase to close the gap. He expands it. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. He knows that real power lies in self-control, not in emotional reaction. The Sigma understands a fundamental truth about human psychology. What we pursue tends to flee, and what we withdraw from often begins to chase. It's a principle seen everywhere, from behavioral science to relationships. Studies in attachment theory and behavioral conditioning show that humans respond strongly to absence and uncertainty. Our brains are wired to seek what feels scarce. So when the Sigma male withdraws his energy and attention, it triggers a sense of curiosity and loss in others. His silence becomes louder than words. Instead of pleading or explaining, he lets time and space do the talking. This deliberate silence isn't cold-hearted, it's strategic. It teaches emotional balance. While others act out of fear of losing someone, the Sigma acts out of respect for himself. He values peace over drama and clarity over confusion. This mindset makes him emotionally self-sufficient. He doesn't chase validation because he already knows his worth. When he senses that someone is pulling away, he interprets it as information, not rejection. He adjusts his presence accordingly, maintaining dignity and composure. Over time, this emotional discipline builds an aura of mystery that often pulls people back toward him. They start to wonder what went wrong, replay conversations, and question their choices, all while he's already moved on, mentally and emotionally. The power of this detachment lies in emotional mastery. It's not about manipulation, it's about maintaining balance in a world driven by reaction. In psychology, this behavior aligns with the concept of secure detachment, the ability to stay calm and centered without needing constant reassurance from others. It's also deeply connected to Stoic philosophy, where strength comes from controlling what you can and releasing what you can't. By expanding the distance rather than closing it, the Sigma male creates a space of reflection for both himself and the other person. It's within that silence that truth often surfaces. While she's wondering why he's so calm, he's already investing his energy in growth, purpose, and self-mastery. That quiet withdrawal isn't a loss, it's a declaration of inner power. Number 2, he improves in silence. When a Sigma male faces rejection, it doesn't break him, it awakens him. For most men, rejection feels like a blow to the ego, a reminder of inadequacy or failure. But for the Sigma, it's simply information, a quiet signal that it's time to evolve. Instead of chasing validation or trying to prove someone wrong, he channels that energy into transformation. You'll often find him in the gym, not posting about his progress, but living it. Each rep, each drop of sweat becomes a silent declaration that he refuses to be stagnant. Biologically, physical training releases dopamine and endorphins, chemicals that naturally boost confidence and focus. The Sigma uses this to his advantage, turning emotional pain into physical strength and mental clarity. But his transformation doesn't stop at the body. Rejection pushes him to become more self-sufficient in every area of life. He studies finance, learns new trades, refines his social intelligence, and expands his worldview. Psychology research shows that self-improvement after emotional setbacks often leads to what's called post-traumatic growth, a stage where individuals become stronger, more resilient, and more purpose-driven because of what they've endured. The Sigma experiences this deeply. While others might spiral into self-pity or distraction, he rebuilds himself from the ground up, piece by piece. His focus shifts from validation to vision. He understands that chasing approval only keeps him trapped in cycles of dependency. So, he builds a life that doesn't require applause. This mindset aligns with the principle of intrinsic motivation, doing things for personal fulfillment rather than external reward. He invests in his dreams, his independence, and his peace. Each goal he achieves becomes proof that his worth was never tied to anyone else's perception. Ironically, the very rejection that once made him invisible becomes the force that makes him unstoppable. Meanwhile, those who doubted him often look back and wonder how he moved so far ahead. While they linger in the past, waiting for attention, he's already miles into his future, thriving in silence. His revenge isn't loud or vengeful, it's measured, graceful, and complete. He becomes the kind of man who doesn't need to be noticed because his life speaks for itself. For the Sigma male, rejection isn't the end of the story. It's the spark that ignites his greatest transformation. His revenge, in truth, is progress, the kind that can't be undone, ignored, or denied. Number 3, he reinvests his energy elsewhere. Every ounce of emotional energy once given to her is redirected into his mission, work, discipline, or personal vision. This is the silent art of masculine transmutation, the ability to take emotional chaos and refine it into purpose. When a Sigma male experiences emotional disappointment or manipulation, he doesn't spiral into self-pity or chase validation. Instead, he channels that same energy into building something meaningful. This mindset is rooted in psychological resilience, a trait studied in behavioral science as emotional redirection, where the brain rewires attachment energy toward productive goals. Ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius spoke of this same principle. Controlling one's impulses and reactions is the highest form of power. For the Sigma, this power isn't about cold detachment, but mastery of emotion, focus, and drive. He learns that emotional restraint isn't repression, it's refinement. By choosing where his emotions flow, he safeguards his peace and productivity. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies on emotional intelligence reveal that men who manage emotions effectively report higher levels of satisfaction, confidence, and performance. When a manipulative person tries to provoke or control him, his calm becomes his weapon. She expects a reaction but gets silence. She expects pursuit but sees focus. This confuses manipulators because their tactics rely on emotional engagement, the push and pull of attention and validation. When a man withdraws that fuel, the game ends. In this way, restraint becomes rebellion, and indifference becomes dominance. The Sigma male isn't heartless. He's simply learned to invest his heart where it multiplies rather than drains. Every setback becomes a catalyst, every rejection a lesson, and every loss a reason to rise sharper and more disciplined. This psychological shift is what separates reactive men from refined ones. It's the transformation from emotional dependence to emotional sovereignty. As he reclaims his power, his focus sharpens, his confidence stabilizes, and his purpose deepens. The world starts to notice, not because he's trying to prove anything, but because true masculine energy naturally commands respect when it's anchored in purpose rather than emotion. In a society where many chase distractions, the Sigma stands apart, quietly turning pain into progress, confusion into clarity, and rejection into redirection. And that is his ultimate revenge, not through anger or words, but through evolution. Number 4, he becomes unavailable. Instead of trying to regain her interest, he disappears into purpose. His time becomes sacred. Messages go unanswered, calls ignored, not out of pettiness, but out of self-respect. The Sigma's absence becomes her mirror, reflecting what she took for granted. This isn't a tactic, it's a transformation. Psychologically, when someone withdraws their attention, the human brain, wired for social validation, instinctively craves it. It's called reactance, a phenomenon where people desire what they no longer have access to. The Sigma male understands this not from manipulation, but from mastery. He knows that energy spent chasing validation is energy stolen from destiny. So instead of reacting, he redirects. While most men spiral into overthinking, the Sigma channels that emotion into evolution. He starts reading more, working harder, and training his mind and body to align with his higher vision. In a sense, his silence speaks louder than any message could. It tells the world and her that his focus is his fortress. Women by nature are drawn to emotional strength and self-possession. Evolutionary psychology explains that independence and confidence signals stability and leadership. So when the Sigma retreats into his purpose, he unconsciously triggers intrigue. She begins to wonder why her charm lost its power, why his eyes no longer follow her the way they used to. What she doesn't realize is that the Sigma's emotional detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the realization that love should never come at the cost of self-worth. His solitude isn't loneliness, it's refinement. Each day apart becomes a reminder of how much peace costs and how valuable it feels to own it. Eventually she might reach out, drawn not by guilt but curiosity. But by then the Sigma has changed. His heart is no longer a revolving door for temporary attention. He's become grounded, fulfilled, and centered within himself. That's the paradox of his silence. By walking away, he becomes unforgettable. In a world where everyone is desperate to be seen, the one who can vanish without bitterness commands the deepest respect. His absence is not punishment, it's wisdom. It teaches her and everyone around her that true power lies not in winning people back, but in never losing yourself in the first place. Number 5, he radiates calm indifference. The Sigma male's stillness is not a tactic, it's a reflection of self-mastery. When he chooses silence over reaction, it isn't indifference, it's emotional intelligence at its highest form. In psychology, composure under pressure is seen as a sign of strong emotional regulation, the ability to stay calm even when provoked. This calmness communicates volumes. It quietly tells the other person that their actions, no matter how calculated or dramatic, no longer have the power to disturb his inner world. The Sigma understands that control is not about dominating others, but about mastering one's responses. By remaining unbothered, he reclaims emotional authority. It's not arrogance, it's alignment with peace. When a woman expects a reaction, anger, jealousy, or emotional pursuit, but receives only silence, she feels the weight of that void. The Sigma's quietness creates contrast. While she may rely on validation or visible emotion to feel powerful, he thrives in detachment. His peace becomes his boundary. In a world where constant attention is currency, withdrawal becomes the most powerful form of communication. Studies in behavioral psychology even show that non-reactivity often compels others to reassess their behavior, because humans are wired to seek response and meaning. When none comes, they're left to face their own motives. That's the paradox of the Sigma's stillness. It teaches without words. True strength, after all, isn't loud or aggressive, it's measured and mindful. The Sigma knows that emotional chaos feeds off engagement, and he refuses to feed it. Instead, he channels his energy into personal growth, reflection, and purpose. This quiet confidence stems from a deep understanding of self-worth. He doesn't chase what disrupts his peace. His composure acts as a mirror, reflecting her attempts to control or test him back at her. In that reflection, she realizes something powerful. He's not ignoring her out of spite. He's choosing serenity over drama. He's chosen himself. In social dynamics, this form of calm detachment is magnetic. It's the same principle that draws people to leaders, mystics, and thinkers throughout history, those who move with quiet assurance rather than noise. The Sigma's silence holds gravity because it's backed by inner stability. While others seek attention through words, he commands it through presence. His calm is not passive, it's deliberate. It communicates that he is centered, grounded, and aware of his worth. And ironically, that tranquil strength often pulls people closer, even those who once tried to provoke him. So when she realizes that his peace cannot be disturbed, that her games no longer elicit reaction, the power dynamic shifts completely. She feels his absence more deeply than she ever felt his presence. Because the Sigma's greatest statement isn't spoken, it's lived. His stillness says, "I'm not leaving to hurt you, I'm walking away to protect my peace." And that silent truth stings more than any argument ever could. Number 6, he evolves beyond her reach. Eventually, his life transforms emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. By the time she realizes his worth, he's become someone entirely new. The Sigma's ultimate revenge is transcendence, turning the game into a memory and himself into a mystery. You see, Sigma males rarely respond to rejection or manipulation in the usual way. Instead of chasing validation or trying to prove a point, they redirect that energy inward, using pain as fuel for transformation. Studies in behavioral psychology show that self-reflective individuals often experience post-adversity growth, a phenomenon where emotional setbacks lead to heightened self-awareness and resilience. The Sigma embodies this perfectly. He doesn't drown in regret or resentment. He studies himself, decodes his patterns, and silently evolves. This is what makes him dangerous in a subtle way. While others are busy decoding emotions, he's mastering detachment. Over time, this detachment becomes his strength. He learns emotional self-regulation, a psychological trait linked to higher mental clarity and decision-making power. Instead of reacting impulsively, he begins to think strategically. His silence becomes a fortress, his solitude a workshop for reinvention. He works on his body, reshapes his habits, learns new skills, and expands his understanding of the world. Spiritually, he begins to sense a deeper rhythm in life, realizing that every rejection is redirection. In this awareness, he stops chasing relationships and starts attracting them through authenticity. The woman who once played hard to get suddenly finds herself intrigued again. But this time the Sigma isn't waiting. He has become the man she once imagined but can no longer reach. That's the poetic irony of it all. When she finally looks back, he's already moved so far ahead that he seems almost unreal. What truly sets this transformation apart is that it's not driven by bitterness, but by liberation. The Sigma's revenge isn't loud or vengeful. It's silent, graceful, and irreversible. His aura shifts. He becomes more composed, confident, and unbothered. Research in emotional intelligence reveals that individuals who develop self-mastery exude a form of calm dominance, an energy that others naturally respect. This is the Sigma's secret weapon. He transcends the superficial chase for approval and instead cultivates peace, purpose, and power within. By the time the world catches up to who he has become, he's already evolved again, too focused on growth to ever return to the old game. His ultimate revenge isn't proving she was wrong. It's proving to himself that he was always enough. In that realization, he doesn't just win, he ascends.